Hey, this is Althraniir, and welcome back to my Kerbal Space Program attempted playthrough. And last time we had decided, or I had decided, that we're gonna try and get into orbit here. So, yeah, let's just build what we need. I'm not quite sure what the requirement of Delta V is, so I'm gonna try and do it in one stage because I know it's possible. And it's just orbit, so hopefully it'll work out well. So we're gonna make this orbiter 1, not exclamation point 1. Will we make it? Because I have a bit of a history in this game of underkill for my first orbiter, or at least the very least following the trajectory wrong. So I waste a bunch of Delta V. Alright, so we're gonna have a little detacher here, and then a stage. No, it is going to be 2 stages, what I'm talking about. It's going to have an upper stage to circularize it here. I don't know how much I need. Put a Terrier on it, a vacuum engine. See, its specific impulse. Sorry, its thrust. Well, no, yeah, specific impulse is 85 at sea level, but 345 in vacuum, so it's extremely efficient in a vacuum, but almost useless at sea level. So it's specifically to help us get into orbit once we're up there. And then we'll put a parachute on before I forget, because I will. Some mystery goo containment units, 2 of those, a thermometer, just 1, and a barometric sensor. Alright, and then another decoupler, and we're gonna do 3 fuel tanks, and we'll do the gimbal engine, because this one is locked completely straight. This one can gimbal and give you thrust vectoring. It's a little bit weaker though, but it's fine. How do you see our specific impulse? I'm not quite sure actually. Advanced mode. No. Is it under crew? Nope. I think I might need a mod to see that kind of thing. No, wait. Mass. Engineers report. Nothing. Okay. Alright, so let's go ahead and also put some boosters on it. I don't know. Oh no! I don't have side decouplers. That's unfortunate. So what I'm gonna do instead, I hope this has enough thrust to get me off the pad. I'm just gonna put it 1 on the bottom. Yeah. Do this. And let's just see what happens. I don't know if this will even launch. Oh no, my landing pad's not cool enough. Let's just upgrade it. I think I have enough money. So let's right click on you, upgrade. And then launch. Let's see if this can go. Oh, the first stage doesn't have any gimbaling because it's a solid rocket booster, so it might not be, like, stable. Okay, it does lift off. It does have enough thrust. But it's going very slow. I don't think this is ideal. I'm not gonna turn it until we drop this first stage, because I might just, like, flip out, because I don't have enough thrust. Oh, and I'm not gonna get my contract now, too. You know, I don't like this. Let's revert to vehicle assembly, because I really wanted that contract completed. Let's just instead, let's just add one more fuel tank and hope that's enough to get us into orbit. Aren't I so good at this game? Okay, save launch. And I mean, if I don't get into orbit, I'm still going to keep this one because I can get science and I'll complete this contract. So I think it's still worth just doing this and getting that little bit. Wow. This is horrible. Okay, maybe it's not worth it. Yeah, I need boosters. This is horrible. Okay, revert flight. Toulon vehicle assembly. Can I put decouplers like this sideways? Yes. But it doesn't let me link them on. Okay. What I'm just going to do then is I'm going to carry these along all the way up until the stage is gone, which isn't perfect, but we'll see what goes on. Alright, so then let's go and throttle up. That's a much better launch. Throttling back a bit. I don't want to get well above 300 meters per second, so I'll lower the power on my liquid engine a little bit and save it for when I get above 10 kilometers, really. Now I'm starting to turn over. I don't know if this is really an ideal time to do that, but so I lost my, now I'm losing velocity, and that's never a good sign. Because I have to carry these guys along. I really should have gotten the decouplers for the radial mounting. And this gravity turn is not good at all. But, I mean, I'm getting there. I'm definitely not a Scott Manley going on here. But I will get it up there. Okay. 60 kilometers. 65 kilometers. And let's just get up to 75 to have a little bit of breathing room. Alright. So that's nice. We can't make maneuver nodes yet because I haven't upgraded the tracking station. So when I hit apoapsis here, I'm just going to burn and make a circular orbit. So how much time do we have till apoapsis? It doesn't even tell us that. My space station is so jank right now. Okay. Let's go ahead and point my nose a little bit below the horizon because that's where I'm going to have to be pointed. When I get to where I want to be. And let's speed it up a little bit. And just get closer to apoapsis rather. Okay. Now let's try and burn and get this circularized. Oh no, I'm pointed down. What am I doing? Alright. How much fuel do I have? Quite a lot left on the first stage, actually. So then my second stage should have more than enough fuel to get me fully circularized. Although it doesn't have nearly as much thrust, so Hopefully we don't fall down in the meantime. No, my apoapsis is still raising, in fact, so I'm just gonna point straight laterally and then maybe a little bit up. As long as it stays ahead of me, I'm not falling back, which is the idea. You want to be following, going so fast sideways relative to your falling speed that you just keep going around in circles. So if you start to fall a little bit, you have to slow your fall by pointing up just a little bit, and that pushes your apoapsis back out. Alright, and there we go. That's orbit. It's not perfectly circular, but that doesn't really matter because both sides are above where the atmosphere will pull me back in. So now we can just do some science. And I still haven't upgraded the astronaut complex, which means I can't do EVAs in space, which is unfortunate, but I'll still get a lot of science from this. Log temperature, observe mystery goo. In space near Kerbal. Oh, I've already done that. It doesn't care about orbit, the goo. I'll do one when I get back. Crew report. And that's also in space near Kerbal. That's really unfortunate. Well, I completed my contract anyway. I don't know how much that paid out, but that's great. Okay. So then, I can't remember what continent Kerbal is on. Well, right there, duh. Okay, so it's the one that looks kind of like Africa, but small. And I'll try and land back close to it so I get more of my recovery back. So I'm going to wait till I'm roughly on the opposite side of the planet, I suppose. Alright, just speed around here. You know what I could do? I have so much fuel. I'll just boost into a higher orbit, more elliptical orbit. And in that way, how much electrical charge do I have? Plenty. Because I don't have any way to generate more electricity, and then I'm done if I can't. Although this has the engine has an alternator in it, so as long as it's on, it will generate a little bit of electricity. So I'm just going to boost up into a higher orbit. I know I'm not at perigee, so this isn't an ideal way to boost up, but I don't really mind. I have so much fuel right now. So let's get it to a high, more eccentric orbit here. I don't know how high it has to be. We'll just do 300 kilometers. And then we'll be able to do science for a high orbit, I think. So let's go ahead and warp up. Alright. Just get up to apogee. Apoapsis. With the Earth, I know you call it apogee, but... And then the Sun, it's like aphelion, and... But here they just use a generic term for apoapsis, I think. So, unless it's not, unless they made up one for Kerbal, but I don't actually know enough about it to tell you that. Alright, so observe mystery goo. Yes, high over Kerbal. Ideal. Okay. And a crew report? High over Kerbal. Okay. So I have managed to save face a little bit here and get let's see, this is probably more science. So let's do that one. I should really get an antenna on my spacecraft so then I can transmit as well. So where am I relative to the space station? It's the one that looks like a little Africa, so it's right there. And let's do a burn to slow us down. I'm pointed in the right direction. And we just burn retrograde to slow down our lateral speed, and that'll make it so that we fall back in. And we don't even need to get that low, we just need to be below the atmosphere, and then we'll get aero braking, which will bring us the rest of the way in. Alright, that's probably more than enough. So let's go ahead and time accelerate. And yes, and that will slow us down automatically when we get into the atmosphere so that we don't burn up because physics is being screwy. And once you're within the atmosphere, you only get physical time acceleration, whereas what I was doing before literally freezes the spacecraft in time and doesn't simulate physics besides just following the trajectory that I had calculated before I put it into physical time warp, full time warp. Whereas with this one that does a maximum of 4x, it does simulate all the physics, even when you're accelerating it, but they act somewhat strange once you go beyond 1 times time acceleration. So let's see how we're going here. Actually, let me ditch the engine. And I wonder how much we're going to slow down here. Oh, this is very hot. I'm losing my science instruments. Should have done a heat shield. It's because I boosted up higher. It wouldn't have been a problem if I had stayed low. Lost all my science, except for my crew report. Lessons are being learned here. I'm not gonna do that again. Okay, so I need a heat shield, and I should have kept the engine and blown off some speed with it, actually. But fortunately, it looks like Jebediah is gonna survive, which is, the most important part. Sitting happy here in the cockpit, not even aware that half his spaceship is blown off. Look at that. See? How much G-force is he getting right now? Like, at least 4 Gs, but he's completely happy. Okay. We're going to be able to... Oh, and look at how close we got to the Kerbal Space Program. I usually just completely blow that, and here we are. Coming in probably at least on the same continent here, which is better than I usually do. Okay, so now it's safe to open a parachute. We're going to speed it up. Okay, I'm learning all the lessons today about what not to do. We're gonna have to do another orbit or so. Why am I going sideways like this? Okay, we're learning all the lessons on what not to do. In the next flight, we're gonna actually get science. All right, so the parachute's open. I can accelerate again at 4x. And slowly he descends. He looks a little bit more bored now that he's only, at almost 0 Gs. He really likes the high G forces. Alright, so let's try and get a little more science, recover, even take data, EVA report, board. Can we do another crew report? Alright, so let's recover. Now, I might get science just because it was the first orbiter, though. I'm not sure how that works. Yeah, recovery of a vessel returned from Kerbin's orbit. I'll get 1,000 back, and Jebediah advanced to level 1 because he is the first Kerbin to orbit the planet. Kerbal to orbit the planet. Okay, so if I upgrade this, he can EVA. Okay, so that's necessary. Now this, do I have enough for anything? I need radial decouplers. So this is important. And I don't have enough for anything else. Okay,